Welcome, everyone, to Every Woman Empowered's Chit Chat. And I am your host, Shawna J. Cerniak, the founder of Every Woman Empowered. And alongside are my co-hosts,
Johnny Galarno, international artist and resident artist of Every Woman Empowered.
Mila Janu, certified laughter yoga instructor, founder of Let's Laugh Yeg, and happiness ambassador for Every Woman Empowered.
And our special guest today is Shawna Dirksen, and she has the company called Practically Minimal. Welcome, Shawna.
Oh, thank you guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Well,
this is awesome.
Thank you for being on board. I gotta tell you that normally we don't look this, crazy looking, but we're definitely needing your help today, and we got a lot of questions that we're going to be asking, and hopefully you'll be able to answer those questions for us and help out our viewers that are watching. I myself personally have grown up in a household where we did have the junk drawer. We had the bag drawer, and that was for all those, bread bags with the little twist ties, the brown bags. Every possible bag was in that drawer. And my mom even had her own junk room, and my dad had his own junk room. So definitely could have used you back when I was a kid. And I have to say, I have kind of taken on some of my parents' traits. I had a junk drawer for years. But now that I've kind of moved into a small condo, that doesn't leave a whole lot of room for much of anything. But I do have a question for you right off the bat. I have zero room for anything. So no room for towels, no room for brooms, vacuum cleaner, anything of that sort. Like, they built these condos without any thought to those little storage areas. What's some quick suggestions that you might be able to give me to help minimize the look, kind of bring it, tie it all together, and not look like it's just a house wreck?
Well, where do you have it all now? Is it all kind of like out in the open, or like how are you kind of handling it right now?
Well, we're kind of stuffing things here and there. So like in my closet right now, all the linens are in totes underneath our clothing. My husband's shoes are in his front closet because all the totes are on his side. And then our brooms are just sticking, and our dustpan are just hanging out in our kitchen along with our vacuum cleaner that's right outside our door. There's no honest to goodness place to put it. We even have stuff in our main bathroom shower because it's a great place to hide because nobody showers in there. We use our own ensuite.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's really frustrating.
Yeah, that's tricky. You've really started me off with quite the question.
Right out of left field.
This is how you guys roll. That's okay. Well, I would say, you want to kind of create a category for everything, and have it all the like items together in the same place. So rather than having it all in kind of different areas. So the next thing I would say, it's tough when you don't have the space, right? I know that IKEA has some really cool storage solutions. So, even if something for your bathroom, maybe if you can fit a shelf or something and then roll your towels and have them, nicely rolled, in a shelf that might fit. Another cool little trick, I don't know if you're utilizing this space or not, but under the beds, you can get those kind of long, flat totes that are meant to be, a lot of them have wheels, and you can, roll them under the bed. You can even roll towels or extra shoes or whatever, stuff that maybe you don't need to access every day, but you still, need to keep. So that would be a good little spot to put those. As far as the vacuum and that,
I just told my husband, let's just chuck it out. Let's just check out the vacuum. I won't have to vacuum anymore. But
you can hire a cleaning service to come in.
That's
and then
right.
You don't vacuum. Yeah, I think that would be the perfect solution for that.
I like the
no more vacuuming at all.
I like the
Or
way you think,
one of
Shawna.
those, or one of those little circle vacuums that kind of does it on its own.
That's
The
right.
name's escaping me right now, but
Roomba.
one of those.
Roomba.
And it's, yeah, Roomba. Then Roomba's always working, so you don't really have to put them away.
That sounds pretty darn good. I like it. Thank you very much.
That's awesome, Shawna. So, like, what made you go this direction for a career? What was the catalyst that started this?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, I'm actually a very, very unlikely person to be doing this. I mean, I kind of grew up the same way that Shawna described. You know, we always, multiple junk drawers probably. You know, it wasn't really a thought, you know, to have, you know, just a whole lot of stuff and, you know, where it goes, you know. And I actually, as sort of a younger adult, I developed a bit of a shopping habit. So I won't say it was like a shopaholic thing, but it was a really deeply ingrained habit that I had. So my vice was clothing. So I would, you know, shop for clothing all the time. I mean, the hours I spent collecting clothes was incredible. So along with that came an overstuffed closet. Actually, I had 2 overstuffed closets by the time I kind of started to realize that this might be an issue. So the frustration kind of mounted. I mean, I was late for everything because I couldn't find anything that I wanted to wear, even though I had like clothes coming out of everywhere. So I finally one weekend got super frustrated and I was like, okay, I need to do something about this. So I just started like pulling stuff from my closet. I probably had never heard the term decluttering at that time. So to me, I'm just like cleaning out my closet, getting rid of things because it was just way too much. And it was really fueled by frustration. So I spent like the whole weekend doing that, almost 2 full days. And I probably, I mean, really looking back, I didn't really get rid of that much, but it was enough to make a huge difference in my life. The vibe in that closet changed so much. I noticed it right away. Things were just a little bit easier, and I was excited, like, to open up the closet, and it's nice and neat, and you know, things were all in their place, and knew what I had, knew where it was. So I continued into the rest of my home, which also had a lot of stuff in it, and I call it the epic purge. I just kind of got obsessed with it, and I turned down social plans, and I was just like, that feeling, I was just so into it that I kept going and going. So that was the really early stages of this. And I mean, I've come a long way even since then. Once you realize how little you actually need, it kind of gives you the courage to even like kind of start letting go of even more things. So really it was all of those benefits, Jenny, that came along with it. And that's really what led me to start Practically Minimal. Like, I just thought everybody should know about this and everybody should do this, and it's just gonna save everything. So so that's really kind of what led me to start. I started with my blog. I did that for a year without offering any kind of service. So it was actually just like a pure passion project before I even started even thinking about, you know, offering services. That came later. So yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Talking about saving everything, like I feel like overall I'm pretty good. I'm not too bad with how much stuff I have in my house, but
Excuse me.
yeah, this is a green screen, by the way.
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah. But I feel like one of the biggest issues I have with clutter is paper. Like, it just keeps coming. There's more and more paper showing up, and it just feels so overwhelming to sit down and go through it all. So help.
Yeah.
Send help. I'm drowning in paper.
Yeah, I can see. Oh my gosh, Nelia, paper is a monster problem. Like, it's a monster. So I mean, I could probably spend, you know, a couple hours talking about how to deal with paper. But you know, I would say, I mean, first of all, it's overwhelming, right? So that's kind of the worst part of it. Nobody wants, it's not glamorous. Of all the decluttering you can do, paper is probably the least glamorous that you can actually, you know, kind of dig into. So I would say to start with, I would start by trying to like limit the paper that's coming in. even before you get to dealing with what you have, because if the pile keeps growing and growing, it's just going to get more and more overwhelming. So you can, kind of consider what maybe you could kind of like digitize, or what could maybe come in like online, like online bank statements versus having them come in the mail is a good example of that. And then even if you don't like digitize what you already have on hand, maybe just start kind of like a digital system. Like if you have, like for your business, if you have receipts coming in, that kind of thing, just start now and start, with what's just coming in now, and start kind of digitizing that. And then, so you're stopping that pile from growing. But you can't stop paper altogether. So having like a very simple system set up for like incoming paper is also really important to kind of set up right away. So mine's right here. I'll just show you really quick. So this is for like incoming stuff. You can see that very well.
Yeah.
Maybe this wasn't a very good idea to show you on my webcam.
It's so
But
empty.
basically,
Yeah. It's
not bad. It's not bad, but it's got like the 3 slots. So I've got like the top one is like mail that's just come in. I went to the mailbox. I'm not dealing with this now. I'm tossing it here. It's got a spot to go. The next one is stuff that I've opened, but I've got to take some action on it. So I've got a bill. I have to pay it. I'm not doing that now. I'm just going to put that in the second slot. And then the third is stuff that I've already dealt with, but I need to file it away somewhere. So I put that there, and then, once in a while I do kind of go and just file stuff away. So that'll help keep that down. And then dealing with what you've already got accumulated, I mean, that's the big step. The best advice I can give is to just like break it down into smaller categories and smaller steps so that it's not so overwhelming. So for example, let's say that, you're going to take a week and you're going to focus on like receipts that you already have kind of laying around. So you're gonna, maybe you're gonna pop like 20 minutes a day in your calendar for a week, and you're gonna deal with those receipts. You're gonna gather them up from all over your house, put them in a pile, and then you're gonna spend your 20 minutes like each day going through them, like shredding them, recycling them, or filing them, or digitizing them, whatever like process you put into place. And then that's your goal for the week, is to get those done. And then maybe the next week you move on to, something else that's really bugging you. You start with what's bugging you the most, and then go from there. And then you'll kind of feel like those little wins going. But yeah, I mean, it's a beast. So you just got to kind of take it, step by step.
No kidding.
That actually just kind of leads right into mine, because I have that paper monster too. As an artist, I'm a collector. I collect all kinds of things. I do upcycling. So I have stuff organized, but it's so quickly can change into that giant monster. Like, just trying to stay on top of it, I find, is like the hardest part. Do you have any tips on how I can combat that?
Yeah, that's a unique question too, because you do need that. You need that for your artwork, so it's not like you can just kind of like let it all go. One thing I would say is I would take a look at everything. Take a look at like your current system, how you're organizing it, and how much space you have for that. Make sure you're kind of breaking it all into different categories. Like, so all the like items are being stored together, and then decide exactly how much space you have to give to each category. So maybe it's like a tote, maybe it's like one of those decorative boxes, that kind of thing. And then once that category is getting full, then you need to make some decisions about what you can let go. So designate the amount of space that you want to give each thing, and then as it overtakes that, that's when you have to go through and maybe let a few things go.
I'm sorry, I'm just listening to you and I'm chuckling because I have been in Jenny's art room.
Okay, so
Okay, it has been
So we
cleaned.
need,
Right now it looks like a disaster, but
She's been looking for this paintbrush for ages. She just
I
can't
don't
find
know
it
what I
anywhere.
did with it. Actually, you should be very proud of me, Miss Shawna. I took all my papers that are pertinent to art and art only. They are now in my spare bedroom, and they're being sorted. And that's what I'm doing. I take one little box, I deal with that box, and then it's next.
Proud
So
of you,
is there
Jen.
a faster way that I can
Awesome.
do this?
Hire
than,
help.
Yeah,
Call a
exactly.
batch.
Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, that's it. That's the trouble. No matter how you look at it, I mean, it's a hell of a lot of work,
Yeah,
right? I
it
mean,
is.
but once you do it, it's so worth it. And you don't want to go through it again. So you're going to keep up the maintenance.
And it
Yeah,
feels great when you do it, right? Like
it does.
when you see it, it feels good. It feels like more open, and you feel more free because it's not all coming on you, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, you open
It's
up
like
that
that to-do list,
energy.
right?
Yeah, you feel so much lighter.
for sure.
So what's the biggest job your company has taken on so far and that has had the most impact?
That's a good question. No, I do things kind of differently. I do things virtually. So I don't actually go into people's homes. So
Oh,
I really focus more on the mindset behind clearing clutter, because really an organization. So to me, like if you want to stay organized, decluttering is 80%. And then the organization is about 20% of that. It's really just like the icing on the cake. Because if you can limit a lot of that excess stuff, then you can be a lot more simple with your organizing. So it's not as much effort and energy to maintain that organization. So what I would say probably, like with my company, one of the biggest things I've undertaken is I have a online community. So it's like a private Facebook group, and I have like all kinds of people in there, all kind of working on decluttering projects. So kind of being in there and, kind of motivating and, setting up like live streams and things like that they're going to get some value from and have some impact is really important. So that's something that I've definitely focused a lot of effort on, and have had a lot of impact come from, as far as people kind of taking those types of courses. But I'm not like the home edit where, I go in and, everything is, one project at a time for someone else.
Wow.
So you were talking about your blog, and one of the great articles that I read recently, you were talking about getting rid of waste. You had a special guest come in and talk about that. So you kind of summarized how all of that went. And I recently heard that only 1% of gifts are still being used 6 months later. So with the holidays coming up, can you maybe share how gift giving's changed for you, and maybe some suggestions on how we can change that just crazy statistic out there?
That is insane. Wow. But you know what? I totally believe it. Yeah. I mean, with gift giving, I mean, something that we've done, and it didn't happen, overnight with our family. We have implemented doing like gift exchanges rather than like giving a gift to everybody.
right.
So we do like one kind of big gift exchange where you're only buying one gift for like each year. So that's always fun. The other thing on the other side of our family, something that we've done as well, is we've eliminated gifts altogether, and everybody makes a charitable donation. And then you just kind of like chat about like where you've made your donation rather than like buying gifts for each other. So everyone like loves doing that as well. It's different though. Like recently in the last few years, we've had like kids coming into our family though. So that changes because of course, like everyone wants to buy something for the kids. So that, that can be a little bit tricky. So I try to kind of stick to like offering them more like experiences versus things for gifts. So I know with COVID that is a little trickier now, but there are definitely still, you know, like experience type gifts that you can give versus versus things if you're creative about it. Like for my niece's last birthday, which was actually just last week, I got her a they have like it's a, I wish I could remember the name of the company. They're out of Vancouver, but they dress up as Disney princesses and then they do Zoom calls with the kids.
Oh,
So
They
yeah,
have that
so
here
I
in
got
Edmonton
her.
too. They have that here in Edmonton as well.
Oh, is there someone in Edmonton that does
Yeah,
it? Oh, I'll
yeah,
have to look that up next
yeah.
time. But yeah, they loved it. So,
No
you
kidding.
know, just trying to kind of think a little bit out of the box on things like that.
I actually
And
did
then
one year. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
consumables too.
Oh, yes.
mm-hmm.
Oh no, that's okay.
Sorry, I think there was a little bit of an internet glitch there, and you kind of cut out. What were you
I
talking
think we're
about?
getting a little glitchy.
Yeah, what were you talking about? Consumables?
Yeah.
Consumables?
Consumables are another great gift option,
Okay.
like food.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Well, who doesn't?
Yeah, so sometimes you
Is it me
yeah,
that's doing this? Am I the one that's glitching you girls out?
I don't know.
You are such trouble, Shawna and Shawna.
Yeah, which one?
Well, you
It seems to
know,
be better now.
yeah,
Yeah, we're good.
like you say, you got two Shaunas on on one screen. It's heating up. It doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Can't
Yeah,
handle
that's
it.
right.
So hot.
So, Shauna, what's the most memorable gift you've ever given or received, kind of maybe from your childhood, or what's that for you?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know what? What really comes to mind, like my husband and I, and this isn't a new thing, like we've done this like for as long as we've been together. Instead of like buying Christmas gifts for each other, we go on a ski trip every Christmas. So I would say like that would probably be, I mean, it's not even just like one memory, but it's just like they all kind of like blend together. But that is really what comes to mind. And yeah, it's not even a thing, you know, it's just a whole experience. So
And
Well,
what a beautiful
experiences can be
experience.
gifts too. Yeah.
Yes. You know, one year, what I did, and this was something that I did to not only declutter, but also gave as a gift. So I know myself, I had so many photos of all kinds of stuff. And so one year, what I did is I took the time, went through all my photos, and put like each of my siblings' photos and their families together, and then even friends and distant relatives and such. And I made up little photo albums and gave them as a gift for each person. And I have to tell you, I never would have expected it, but the reception on it was phenomenal. Everybody loved their gift, and then they started sharing the stories about what the picture was about, and they laughed at the crazy hairdos and the outfits, and looking at when you were young and skinny, and the kids when they were little, and it was so much fun. And it was a great way to get rid of photos that I just didn't want to throw out, because to me, I think somebody else could have really taken advantage of them versus, why would I have pictures of all these other people? And yeah, it just turned out to be a really beautiful gift.
oh, I absolutely love that idea.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's wonderful. Yeah, and it's those memories, right? You know, that's what it's really all about.
And you know what? You're sitting around at Christmas, you're laughing, you're sharing, and all the stories start to come out that maybe people would have never heard otherwise. And you're sharing all the stuff, and it just really brought the family together. It was just a really nice little treat that one year. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
So, ladies, do we have any other questions for Shawna?
Well, I can always ask my really important question.
Yeah, I think you probably should do that.
Shawna, you must understand this is very vital. If you were an ice cream, what
Okay.
flavor would you be and why?
Oh my gosh. Oh
Very
no.
important.
I don't know.
It's a head scratcher.
If I was an ice cream, what flavor? You know what I would probably have to say? Like I would be vanilla because it's the most minimal of all the flavors and it is just very simple and still like you just appreciate it just so much more because you're not competing with anything. It's just the ice cream.
That's a
Good
fabulous
answer.
answer.
Good answer.
Totally. Well, Shawna,
Phew.
I gotta ask, like, now people are going to want to, find you. How do they find you? Where on social media are you? What's your website? Tell us where we can get all the information on you.
Yeah, of course. Well, my website is practicallyminimal.com. So you can Google that and it'll pop up. Also, I'm on Instagram and that is at Practically Minimal. And then I do have a Facebook page as well, also called Practically Minimal.
Perfect. Well,
Wonderful.
you know what? Thank you so much, Shawna, for being on the show today. I'm going to start, cleaning out my closet tonight, and I'm going to get rid of all my husband's stuff and make more room for mine. So don't tell
Let
him.
me know how that goes.
It'll be Shawna sleeping in the shower.
Exactly.
Yeah, it will be.
Move over, vacuum. I'm coming in.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Shawna, for being a part of the show. We so enjoyed having you. And thank you for the fabulous tips. I really think
Yeah,
that,
absolutely.
it's just simple things that you've just said just makes a world of difference. So thank you. And looking forward to watching you on Instagram and seeing your blog. So take care and all the best.
Oh, thank you guys so much for having me. This has been so much fun.
Thank you.
Thank
Take care.
you.
Oh, look, I
Bye.
found my paintbrush.
Yay!